I have written a poem to start this week's SmackDown Ups and Downs. Yep. Because welcome to Ups and Downs. It's a very nice show, and if you don't like positivity, you can get out of here. You stupid show. Hi, welcome to Ups and Downs. My name is Simon Miller, and I won't take no crap. SmackDown also got me pumped up right out of the gates, because out came Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and they were all like, way, we're the tag team champions, and way. Can you believe it that a couple of weeks ago, we main evented WrestleMania in a tag team match? I was like, all right, guys, that's in the past. Why don't you focus on the future? He also chatted about their friendship and how the WWE draft is coming and that it's going to shake everything up. And I still don't get this. How can it shake anything up when WWE superstars are already on both shows? So I am secretly hoping this is just going to be a way to call up NXT wrestlers. Really, that should have been the focus anyway. The best part, though, is when Sami Zayn was all like, who cares about that? Because we don't have time to worry because we're more concerned about the bloodline. So I was like, well, if you don't give a flub, why should I? KO agreed because Roman Reigns' crew are now more dangerous than ever, and he just knows that Jimmy and Jey Uso will soon walk down that ramp and ask for a rematch. When the Usos' music hit, they got to the ring and they asked for a rematch. And I was like, wait a minute. Is wrestling rigged? The Usos felt like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were about to crack under the pressure, so I was like, they've been watching a totally different show from me, when Sam retaliated by going, listen, if you want to talk about pressure, maybe it's you two that always have to check in with your daddy, Roman Reigns. Get it? Because he's saying they're like children. That's funny. Jey then decided to stir the pot by saying, actually, I got it wrong. It's not going to be Kevin that turns on Sami. It's going to be you, Sami, that turns on Kevin because you betray everybody. And I tell you, I still think there's a few seeds being planted here that this could be the case. Although I tell you this, if we do it at WrestleMania 40 and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens do fight over a world championship, warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum. Sam laughed this off because Jey is just scared of the tribal chief, which he should be, because that guy's crazy. And given that Solo Sikoa is out here too, everybody started to brawl. Out came Matt Riddle, because he was like, bro, I don't like what you did to me ages ago. And away we went. Now, I presumed at first that we were just going to do this six-man tag at Backlash, but as we would learn later on SmackDown, we're actually doing the tag team title rematch in a couple of weeks. Look at my eyebrow go, I don't know what's going on. We also found out that our main event this evening will be Solo Sikoa versus Matt Riddle. I'm just going to tell you this. The highlight of this whole segment is when Jimmy Uso went, the bloodline is more stronger than ever. You don't need to say more stronger, Jimbo. You can just say stronger, that's totally fine. You know this rocks though, because these guys are great performers. And look, we are going to need somewhat of a swerve or a pivot soon, because we are kind of doing the same thing. But am I still enjoying it? Yes. That's right, I asked the finger of power. We then got reminded why Xavier Woods and LA Knight were going to have a match. It was essentially because they disagreed about video games. When we did get this fight, and honestly, I was in dreamland, because I love both these guys, and it was just a pleasure to watch them work. They were given loads of time as well, as the fans' reactions were mixed, which also made me very, very pleased. And they started off by doing headlocks. And I was like, yeah, you locked that head. Woods then hit a dive because it is 2023, but I think that tied into Lars' plan, because when Knight was on the outside, he was like, well, I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to throw him into Rhea the ring post. She also hit a neck breaker to try and break his neck when Woods came back with a dropped kick. And when Knight tried to suplex him out of the ring, Xavier hit another one of these stomps when he came off the second rope with another leg drop thingamajig. And honestly, the ref went one, the ref went two, and at the last second, LA grabbed the rope. And boy, how did everybody respond to that? This is when LA Knight came up with a plan though, because he was like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit you with the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up. But because he held the tights, the official was like, well, no, you're doing this right in front of my eyes. What do you think? I am some kind of goober. I'm not going to let you get away with it. So Woods was like, well, turn around is fair play. He hit the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, and he held the tights, and he got the 3 count. And this is exactly what should have happened, because who is the master of the surprise roll-up? It's Xavier Woods. So this was always going to be a win-win for me, because again, I do just love both guys, and we do not have to worry about LA Knight. All you got to do is put a microphone in his hand, and he will get all his momentum back. Now, I'm a wrestler, and I always lose, and look, I can do it too.
I'm so sorry I lost. I tried really hard, but I'm just not very good.
Should probably just ignore that. Still, Mike was super mad that the official had made this mistake afterwards, and bring it down, there is a surprise roll-up board. And even though it does go up by 1, I do not care, because again, Xavier Woods and LA Knight are just terrific, and it pleases me to see them on my television. We then learned that we are going to get the draft in 2 weeks' time, so you can set your calendars to that, which makes absolutely no sense. You can't set a calendar to anything. When we were in the back with Imperium, when Xavier Woods was back, and he's playing his trombone. And no trombone has ever sounded like that. The whole point, though, is that nobody knows what's going to happen in the draft, so Woods is telling Gunther right now he wants an Intercontinental title shot, and I actually think this is going to happen. Now, I'm not going to say I was responsible for this, but we did do an interview with Xavier Woods over WrestleMania weekend, and he did shout this out. I'm going to hope that all these things have come in place, and while it won't happen, if he did beat Gunther for that belt, oh my gosh, I would have kittens. As ever, we have no idea what that means. I am ready. I swear we then continued to tease that Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens were on separate pages. He's on like 92 and the other one's on 114. Sam was worried about Riddle taking on Solo Sikoa because he was like, do you remember what happened last time? We took you out for months. And also I helped with that. When KO was like, no, what are you doing? Don't talk to him like that. Listen, Riddle, you got to go out there and kick some ass. And he is right, we do need some revenge, but I think we do need to watch this space because something's happening here. When we were with Kayla Braxton, who as ever just went into super troll mode. Because she was chatting to the Judgment Day, or Dominik Mysterio, Rhea Ripley, and Damian Priest, and thankfully Finn Balor wasn't here, because I hope he's at home resting, when Kayla was like, yo, Rhea, do you remember when Zelina Vega murked you last week? And the champ was like, how dare you speak to me like this? I'll kill you. Thankfully, Dominik calmed her down as Damian Priest started to chat. He was all like Santos Escobar. You pick terrible, terrible friends because you hang out with Rey Mysterio and Bad Bunny. Really made me laugh. What a thing to get mad about. As Damian did want to talk about the naughty rabbit more, he did walk to the ring with the rest of the crew, and for the love of everything, do not split them up in the draft, because you will upset me greatly, when he was like, yeah, Bad Bunny, you're going to be at Backlash, and that's totally cool and all, but remember, you're just the host. Sit in the front row, and don't get in my face. This is when the LWO music hit, even though it is just the Garda del Fantasma, but this is working so damn well, because people did react. Even though back in WCW it was mostly a joke, and they wasted no time here, and everything just broke out into a big old brawl. It also meant we were going to get Damo versus Escobar, and I was doing this at the end because I'm a weird man, but also because Priest flipping won. This is another fire match as well, and people were so behind Santos Escobar, so we must have done something right. But do not forget, not only did we have Joaquin Wilde and Zelina Vega and everybody else at ringside, the Judgment Day were there too, so you could just smell distraction. Escobar also tried to do the 10 punches in the corner, but Priest was like, no, and just booted him right in the head. When they were on the outside, and he did a double axe handle off Simba the Steel Steps. For the love of everything, please do more of this. Bring back 1987 moves. They were then tussling on the top when Escobar hit this amazing Hurricane Rana, and then I think the slug siren must have gone off, because they just started laying into each other. Santos also used a moonsault to get a near fall where he was rocking and rolling, and I think Dominik Mysterio saw this from the outside. He was like, nah, brah, I ain't having any of this. He tried to get involved. Wilde and Del Toro were ready for the condom though, so they stopped it when all of a sudden Santos Escobar came in with this amazing dive, because it was 2023 wrestling. And this is when, once again, Zelina Vega saw what Rhea Ripley was trying to do, so she went and smacked her one. So surely we are going to do that at the pay-per-view, premium live event, but as Damian always does, he's like, look at all these fools being distracted. That's not me. I'm a smart human being. And he hit the big old choke slam, and he got the 1, 2, 3. So I thought all of this rocked, especially because afterwards he was going to do it again through Alan the announce table when Rey Mysterio's music hit and he got a massive reaction, so all this has worked. And of course he made the save, he went after his son, and we have just carried on this story, maybe even perfectly since WrestleMania. You could even argue it's actually going better than the Bloodline one, but shh, don't tell anyone that. But speaking of the Bloodline, we were then backstage with Paul Heyman and the rest of them, and none of them were happy, because Paul had been speaking to Roman on the telephone. Because he told us that Riddle's recent actions had embarrassed everybody, including the elders. So he talked about Arthur and Sika and Yokozuna and Umaga, and of course, the best one of all of them, our tribal chief. Solo Sikoa then butted in though and was all like, listen man, I'm just gonna take care of it. And I'm starting to feel something here in the next few weeks, the next few months, even the next year. I kind of think Solo should become our new head of the table. That's right, I said it. Now, don't tell Roman Reigns. I said it. But honestly, WWE, you should do it. Be ready. Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan were then out here. What a weird team. Now, we did make a big deal of them winning the tag team titles on Raw, which we should do, because WWE likes making those things vanish quicker than my hairline. But I don't know who wrote their verbiage, but it's actually a little bit annoying, because they were like, oh man, we're just so happy to be the tag team champions. And Liv, thank you so much for allowing me to throw you at our opponents. And Morgan was like, oh man, anytime. And I was like, right, that's it, go. Because hello, my name is Simon Miller and welcome to another episode of Nobody Talks Like That. Because seriously, one, if you're a human being, you shouldn't be throwing another human being into a human being. And if you do, you don't say thank you. The other person doesn't say you're welcome. What even is wrestling anymore? Goodbye, Indiana Jones hat. You can just tell this was a setup of something though, which is when Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green interrupted. They made a very good point. They were like, why are you even celebrating? You didn't beat Becky Lynch and Lita, who were the tag team champions. You beat Trish, who was a substitute. So maybe you should shut the hell up. Green then made it clear that they want to be the new challengers, so a big old brawl did break out. And I really like this team of Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville, especially because they can call themselves the Complainers. I suppose that we can do this match at Backlash, although if I was WWE, which I'm not because that would be weird, they're a company and I'm just a man, I would still have Raquel turn on Liv Morgan before she goes on to win Money in the Bank. Because I think the money in Rodriguez isn't her being a bad guy. But we'll wait and see. This was fine, I suppose. I was mostly just happy that we did do something with the women's tag team titles. When Shinsuke Nakamura returned to SmackDown, been far too long. He was also wearing this zebra suit which only he could get away with. And man, he was taking on Madcap Moss. And he must have been on the clock, because he took about 90 seconds and he beat him with the Kinshasa. Honestly, this was a mega squash. We also saw Madcap beforehand talking to Emma. And as always, Emma was like, don't listen to the fans, listen to me. You're going to do great and you're going to go out there and you're going to absolutely smash him. And look what happened. So as I said last time, never forget these words. Never listen to Emma, or NLTE. Even after he had lost, Emma was shouting, get him again, Madcap, do something to him. So Nakamura applied the armbar. So what did I just say? NLTE or whatever it is. And honestly, I really hope this is finally the time we do push Shinsuke Nakamura to the moon. Bring back the dude who was in New Japan that was absolutely killing it. And even like this, he's still damn great. It was just a wonderful reunion. We did see Karrion Kross and Scarlett after this too, and these two are bizarre, because they'd gone out of their way to make a tarot card with Shinsuke on it, where Karrion was all like, tick-tock, tick-tock. I'm like, Kross, I'm sick of this. Listen to me. Sit down. You're not a clock. You may want to be a clock, but you're not a clock. You're a man. You're a human being. You are an entity of this earth. And you were a clock, you wouldn't be able to have a match with Shinsuke Nakamura, would you? And if you did, I guarantee you'd absolutely lose. Everyone just calm down. We then saw Braun, Raw, Strowman and Ricochet walking through the back. This was like a WWE 2K23 skit, because the Viking Raiders attacked them and they just threw Ricochet through a table. So this has to continue for some reason. It was here when we got to our main event, as Paul Heyman did confirm that we are getting the tag team title rematch in a fortnight. But the interesting part is when Jimmy and Jay were like, oh my gosh, yeah, we're going to do it because we're the best. Heyman was kind of talking about it behind them when he went, Roman Reigns is sick of you two. Now, the Usos thought he was talking about Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, but he was not. So one of two things is going to happen. Either we're going to be really sad because Owens and Zayn do get defeated, or Jimmy and Jay are going to be decapitated. So nobody is coming out the other side in a good position at all. So I'm equal parts pumped and equal parts worried, but we then did go into Solo Sikoa versus Matt Riddle, and they just had a good old-fashioned hard-hitting match. I'd also love to be Solo's friend, even though he doesn't say much. And of course, the Usos, Owens and Sami Zayn did keep interfering, they did keep distracting, until the ref was like, I can't handle this. It was like he was their kindergarten teacher or something. He was like, I can't handle it. Would everyone just please leave? And finally, they got sent to the back. It's also when Riddle went for the most devastating move in all the sports entertainment, and can you imagine? But Sikoa was so mad at that, he just started roughing Matthew up. And honestly, I know we talked about it earlier, but this dude is ready to pop. He's brilliant. He also applied a nerve hold at one point, which always makes me laugh, because what are you trying to do? I'm gonna stop your nerves, which doesn't make any sense. When from nowhere, Riddle was able to help the floating bro, and he got a 2. This is when the Usos just walked back to ringside. So I was like, what is the point of rules? Why are we even doing this? And KO and Sami did the same. And you know the deal with a professional wrestler. If there is something happening outside the ring, they can't help it. It's like a moth to the flame or a magnet. They just get drawn to it. So Riddle did a flip dive onto Jimmy and Jay. And then when he got back in the ring, he got super kicked and he got hit with the spike and he lost. And I'm just going to say this, more for him. This one's on you. Sikoa was great here as well because he then threw Riddle through Alan the announce table and dumped the wreckage on top of him, which meant SmackDown went off air with the bloodline going, oh, we did it. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn had to go unbury their friend. Now, I presume we are still going to do this at Backlash, but yeah, every single match is kind of ending the same, so we do need a little something soon. But look at the ups and the downs. I don't even mind this one. SmackDown is just a good show because it tells the story you want to be told. And also, the matches in this one were absolute fire. It's getting an up there. And overall, it's getting an up too. So the Bloodline are more dangerous than ever. And we'll have to see what is going to happen here. But in the meantime, make sure you do click one of the videos on the screen and go and watch as many ups and downs as you can. Because if you don't, I'll be a sad panda. As I always say. More importantly, go watch Rampage ups and downs. That will be live later. I don't mean that. More importantly, just make sure you enjoy your time on this earth. That's what life is all about. See you soon.